Philippine Revolution by Ivan Arcilla. Pre-Revolution. Ever since the most famous Portuguese circumnavigator, Ferdinand Magellan, reached the Philippines, Filipinos have fought trying to keep their homeland from being occupied by foreign invaders. They were successful doing so in the First Battle, or the Battle of Mactan, where Filipinos in the southern islands warded off a number of Spaniards and killed Magellan. However, this didn't stop the Spanish conquistadors from successfully invading the country and occupying it as a colony for the Spaniards. For more than 300 years, no Filipino has dared to rebel against the government, for doing so will result in imprisonment, or worse. Stage 1. A spark before revolution. There were small attempts or sparks to speak against the government, but this doesn't come close to the protest of the church. As a result of this, three Filipinos priests named Mariano Gomez, Jacinto Zamora, and Jose Burgos were executed for treason by the Garrett device. Stage 2. The weakness within the government. A Filipino author named Jose Rizal created a propaganda campaign against the government, hoping it would gather the attention of many Filipinos. He wrote books on the exposure of the weakness in the Spanish government and distributed leaflets to persuade Filipinos to join the fight against the Spaniards. The propaganda movement would stay strong until it dissolved in 1892, after the Spaniards found out about this and had Rizal executed by firing squad. Stage 3. The struggle of a revolting government. Andres Bonifacio, our Filipino rebel, figured if they wanted the Spanish government to leave, they were going to have to force them to leave by armed conflict. In 1892, he decided to risk his life by creating a new organization called the KKK. Unfortunately, this isn't the KKK you think it is. It stands for the Kataas-Taasan Kagalang-Galangang Katipunan. He would lead this organization of freedom-hungry Filipinos into battles, where they had some success in only taking over Spanish forts and bases. And this is where the legend, Emilio Aguinaldo, emerged. Aguinaldo and Bonifacio would collaborate, but Bonifacio's leadership was cut short due to him being shot in 1897 for committing sedition against his own organization after they voted for Aguinaldo as a leader. Aguinaldo would turn his organization into his own government and lead his people into battles which ruined his reputation, had his group dispersed, and he was exiled to Hong Kong. Stage 4. The Declaration of Independence. Then, in 1898, the Spanish-American War started. America did not like how Spain destroyed their battleship Maine and the Havana harbor in Cuba, and this angered the nation. When Aguinaldo learned of this in Hong Kong, he realized that he and his government needed to get involved in this in order to win their independence. He met up with American generals and decided to make his government an ally of America. Now that the war was brought into the Philippines, it was time to move back to Cavite, where the Philippines Revolutionary Government headquarters was held at the time. He decided to create the Philippines Declaration of Independence in June 1898, which was signed by 98 delegates of the different provinces in the Philippines. After announcing the document, the first Philippine flag was waved outside Aguinaldo's home, and was followed by the Philippines' national anthem, Lupang Hinirang, being played by a band. Stage 5. The Filipinos take back their country. At last, their whole fate comes down to this, in the Battle of Manila. Well, it was not technically a battle since the fighting was all pretend. The explanation is quite simple. American generals and the Spanish governor of Manila decided to negotiate. They had an agreement where American forces will pretend to take over Manila, and Spain will surrender, ultimately ending the war in the Philippines. And in return, Filipinos will not be able to enter the capital whatsoever. From July to August of 1898, the American soldiers, one by one, advanced into Manila, constantly taking over every part of the city until Spain finally surrendered. The Filipino rebels completely ignored and entered the city, looting resources and cheering. Stage 6. Peace is ensured. After 300 years of the Philippines under the control of Spain, Filipinos can finally rest easy. Battles were fought, people were arrested, sacrifices were made, but the Filipinos did not give up their spirit. Also, the first Philippines government was established in Manila, and as of Emilio Aguinaldo, of course, was seated as the first Philippine president. Long-time effects. the Philippines founded its first democratic government and the first democratic government in Asia. The Philippines Congress was established and the executive branch emerged, where presidential terms were served by 15 Philippine presidents.